Yeah, I remember I was telling you the last time I did EFT, I like burst out into tears. I'm like kind of feeling that feeling right now.
That's good. Yeah. That means things are shifting.
Yeah.
After EFT too, it's always good to like take a nice deep breath and drink some water.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's good. When I ask you this question or when I share this, what comes up for you? The thought that you can ask for support and still be self-sufficient.
I feel like I wouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's totally possible to be able to ask for support. And yes, it's new to me in this world where we operated at. I was used to doing everything for myself, whether it was like scheduling meetings and all of my executive team and my previous org had that because we didn't have support like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas here is we have somebody who takes care of those things. It's their job. And even from the strategic side, there is a lot of support from the global team. Mm-hmm. So I feel very lucky for that. But it's, again, also new for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are a few things that you feel like you could ask for support on so that you could focus more on the strategic and the higher level?
Yeah, I think there is a piece of me that feels like we need to get a few things out of the way because people keep knocking on my door because I am dysfunction. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a few things need to get out of the way and then create clarity for the team around how to use specific tools. I feel like with the transition of this organization, I think a lot of the team doesn't have the right knowledge around how to use the tools that are set up. But for myself to be able to ask the thing is I do ask for support now. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not asking in the right way or to the right person.
Okay.
I think that might be it.
Okay, great. So that's perfect. Thank you so much. So I feel like with a few things off of your plate, you'll be able to focus more on those higher level things. So let's dig back into supporting you with getting that confidence in sharing in meetings, in having that higher level focus so that you can get those strategic things done.
And also just being more creative. You talked about being able to feel creative. I think I'm also lacking that now is feeling creative in my space because I feel bogged down by certain things.
Right. Feeling creative. I'm just going to write that down because that's important. And again, that goes back to to your nervous system. When you're feeling safe to contribute, safe to be who you are, you're just going to tap right into your subconscious that's where all of those creative ideas are going to flow.
Yeah. And I think back to the reason why I was able to excel is because I was actually given the platform to just go and do and create.
Yes.
And I did, and it was great. And here it feels, I think there's also a part of it that feels like I'm supposed to deliver what they're thinking versus me being creative. And that could just be in my head. Mm-hmm. But that's also something that feels, I'm having deja vu, by the way.
You're having deja vu?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good insight. So you feel like you have to create what they're thinking. Essentially, you're being an order taker rather than being able to infuse your magic to maybe even deliver something even better than they could have thought of to get to the same outcome.
It's interesting when you say it like that. I'm wondering if it's just that's the way I'm thinking about it, not necessarily the way that it's being perceived. Mm-hmm. That I should be, and again, this goes back to creativity, like thinking about things in multiple different ways. What are the right questions to ask? What are the right, people to connect with to make sure that we get the right outcomes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you position it like that, I think it's definitely falls on me to be able to go out there and feel creative, but psychological safety is something that is super important for anybody in their workplace. And maybe I'm not feeling that yet. Mm-hmm. And I always thought I was the type of person who could navigate all waters and feel like I can deliver. Mm-hmm. But I'm finding that that's not true right now.
Mm-hmm. But it is true because even right here, we're talking through it. We're having breakthroughs. You're navigating it.
Yeah.
Right? This is the journey right now. You're on the journey right now. So you are navigating those waters.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a little deep and sometimes you have to swim a little bit harder. But once we swim through this and you come out on the other side and you're confident again, then you're going to look back and you know what? You're going to look back and you're actually going to say, I benefited from feeling this way, because how much better are you going to be able to relate to your staff that might be feeling this way in the future, or be able to have awareness maybe of things that are happening in meetings or people not feeling like they can be creative and in their power. So it's actually going to make you even better. You're already great at what you do, but it's going to actually make you even better at what you do. So we're navigating it right now. You haven't, it's not done, you know?
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, when I feel like I'm not operating at my best, definitely you go to like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm such a best case scenario person that is strange to me.
Yeah.
I always think, what's the best case scenario? What's the best possible outcome here?
Yeah.
And I always like bring my mindset there, and I'm just struggling with the fact that I'm going to worst case scenario.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the nervous system, right? When we're feeling a little bit of fear, we go into that fight or flight, and it's survival, safety.
Yeah.
When you can go back and you can sit in any room and you feel like that's when your mind's going to be able to float right to best case scenario, new ideas, creativity, everything like that. So it's all there. It's all available. You're not like a new person where it's all gone. It's all right there. And it's just waiting for you, you know, to access it. And it's all there.
It is.
Okay. And I was going to say something on that point. Okay. I was going to say something on that point of, it sounds like you just had a breakthrough where you're saying, oh, I'm thinking that I have to do everything exactly the way that they want it, when actually what's going to be a win-win is achieving the outcome in your own unique way with your creativity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is that's the truth. That's what I should get to. But there's definitely blockers there. I think it might be because of my function where I feel that sometimes people don't want to be bothered to participate in these say it's a workshop where we're trying to figure something out and get to the details of it, and I feel like I almost don't want to bother people, which is something that's something I need to get past. I think that's been an ongoing thing for myself.
Okay, so one way that we can reframe that is, when you think about it, if you achieve the outcome that they want, that's actually going to be a win-win, right? For them and for you, of course. So is asking them specific questions bothering them, or is asking them specific questions supporting them?
It should be supporting them.
Yeah. One thing that we teach in the S-Apply method is something called a negotiation strategy. And so what this does is, sometimes in workplaces, we can get really bogged down in the details of like, I need to do this, I need to do that. But again, when we go and ask for what purpose, for what outcome, we're able to kind of chunk up into the greater reason why we're taking action, why we're making moves. So I wonder if a strategy that you could try is, if there's certain people where when you approach them about something, they're resistant, or, you know, they make you feel like they're bothering them or whatever, we can try to approach them almost like a negotiation, where we come to them with the outcome that they want. So we say, hey, you wanted to increase sales by 200%, right? Or you wanted to increase you wanted to decrease employee turnover by 50%, right? Then they're bought in to the outcome. Yeah. And then you can refer back to, so that project that I'm working on to decrease employee turnover, I'm going to benefit a lot by you just answering these few questions for me. Yeah. Does that feel like a good way to approach that person? Yeah. And hopefully get them more bought in?
Yeah, absolutely. And the group as a whole. And I think, yeah, absolutely. It's just the best way. You have to think about the outcome and what we're solving for first. And then, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. As we're talking about this, is there anything that's coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm thinking about how the specific actions that I need to be able to take and feel confident taking these actions. And I think that goes back to, you know, my initial feelings that I just don't feel as confident moving, asking these questions. And there's no reason for it. I should be able to say, hey, listen, we all want something. Let's get some buy-in here, and let's get everybody. If you have everybody's opinion, then the buy-in is really there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's confidence with asking questions, confidence with sharing in meetings. So overall, it's the confidence with communicating with the people that you need to communicate with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move into a few yes apply method techniques that can actually help you with confidence.
Perfect.
Yay.
Let's do it.
Okay, amazing. So that was so great. You know, you gave me such great information about where you're currently at, where you want to go. And so now I feel like I know exactly what we need to do to help you get there. So what we're going to do is install some new ways of being, some new ways of believing, some new ways of feeling, and we're going to deinstall from your programs what's not serving you. So when we want to create the life that we want, it's obviously so much easier when we do it on autopilot, right?
Yep.
And our programs are what is leading our life on autopilot. So when we adjust these subconscious programs, now you're able to show up in different meetings and different conversations, just feeling like it's natural to be that way instead of forcing yourself or feeling like, oh, I'm going to bother this person when, you know, I talk to them. So does that feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So as you're in this new role at this new company, you've had a bunch of shifts. One huge thing that's going to help us shift our programs is our identity, right? So I want you to imagine for a moment the version of you who you're absolutely crushing it at your job, you're standing up in meetings and you have this huge presence. You're taking up space. You're able to deliver the ideas that you want, talk to the people in the way that you want. When you're sharing ideas, they're responding and saying, oh my God, that's amazing. Like add it to the list, whatever it is. You just feel confident in any setting that you're in. Can you just take a moment and just kind of think of that version of you for a minute?
Yeah.
Just imagine who that would be, what would need to shift, even the clothes that you're wearing, like just make it really real in your mind. See yourself where you're sitting. Maybe you're in a different seat or different office than you currently are. Who knows? So just take a moment to just envision that, feel the feelings around it. What?
Can I close my eyes?
Yeah, go for it. And take your time, but just let me know when that feels really real. Good?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So that version of you that we just talked about, that's confident in every meeting, that's leading, that's sharing your ideas, that's moving up in the company. What are some of the characteristics that you feel? So if you were to describe you, if I was to say 10 words that describe you, how would you describe yourself?
Confident.
Confident, yeah.
Yeah. Creative, smart, bold, bright.
Bright, yeah.
Intellectual, kind, positive, critical thinker.
I love it. And what are some aspects of your personality, like when you're doing things, how do you do them? So for example, you're a great storyteller, or attention to detail, or those types of things. So
those are the things I want to add. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yes. Generally, I am a good storyteller when it's a smaller group. But once it gets a big group, I can public speaking stuff. But smaller groups, I'm usually fine.
Okay, that's great.
Attention to detail, and then somebody who provides perspective.
Perspective, I love it.
Brings new energy.
New energy, okay.
To situations.
And as this person, as you're saying it, is it becoming even more clear for you, this like new identity?
It's the thing is that this is a lot of who I am already. And I'm like trying to reemerge back into this space. When I was imagining myself just now, I was imagining being in a room and having conversations that I've had with my previous team and things that they would say about my work and how I deliver and how I create with my current team. Because I've already been in this space where I've been really great at what I do. And I want to continue that and develop that, of course. But I think that's where when I envision myself, I think what I would say is I would like to be a little bit more creative in my approach. Maybe a little bit more a little bit more thoughtful in the organization and what it needs, and maybe stop comparing so much with my previous organization.
Okay, that's good. And as this person, what do you feel in your body?
Just like happy and the I love my job feeling.
Okay.
Which is, I've had that before, and it's such a great feeling knowing what you're doing is good. In my function, it can be very rules-based. People are like, you hire and fire people. I don't. But what you can actually do in this position is you can create small changes for people to make their life easier. So I always think about that's my why and why I do this. Whether it's small changes, big changes, watching people like grow throughout different phases in their lives, it's really, it creates impact for me and why I do my job. So the I love my job feeling, I want to get back to that feeling. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And in this identity as well, how do people around you feel? There's a question that I love. I heard a conference years ago. I always go back to it, but it's, and I know the answer is yes, but is if you met you, would you like you? So I love that, just like kind of stepping into someone else's shoes and looking back at you. So asking yourself that question, just asking yourself, how do people feel in your presence?
I think I try and make people feel comfortable in my presence, always. Because I also never want to make people feel stupid or like they don't provide value or that they're not welcome in this space. Like I always want to create a space where everybody, I don't care what level you are. Like we were talking about me in this executive role, that stuff doesn't matter. Like the hierarchy, like we talk about, it's all like, it doesn't matter because we're all here. We're all trying to create a difference together. And when I really want to be able to create comfort for people at any level and making them feel like they can be their best selves at work, which is also something I need to do for myself as well, or that maybe that's what I expect as well. But yeah.
Okay. And when you're in those rooms where right now you're currently feeling a little uncomfortable, and then you imagine as you want it to be, how do you want people to feel around you?
I want them to feel, good. Like, okay, great. We got the right people in the room. Let's get on with this conversation. Oh, great. Demetra's here. Like, that's great. I really wanted to like connect with her on this. Yeah, like that. Like
Okay.
I'm just in the right place.
And as this person, what do you believe about yourself?
That I am in the right place, that I belong here, and that I can grow here.
You can grow. Okay. Growth is so important.
Forever.
All about the growth.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with me. So let's do a couple of Yes Apply Method techniques. So the first one that we're going to do is anchoring.
Okay.
So I want to help you create an anchor that you can essentially tap on and use so that if you're in these meetings and you have a moment of like, I'm not feeling confident or whatever, you can tap on that and bring yourself back into that feeling.
Okay.
And then the other technique that we're going to do is we're going to release. So you know when you're about to sit down to ask someone something or say something, and that little thought is crossing your head of, what if I'm bothering them? We're going to release that.
Okay.
So that that thought just doesn't even cross your mind anymore. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so first thing we'll do is we'll start with anchoring. Okay, so what I want you to do, why don't we just do confident? And as we're thinking of confidence, just kind of encompass like this identity to it. You're smart, you're bold, you're bright, you're intellectual, you're kind, you're positive. So can you think of a time in the past where you felt totally confident? Mm-hmm. Can you think of a specific time?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, so what I want you to do is just let yourself kind of go into that space of feeling totally confident.
Okay.
Do you remember like where you were sitting, what you were doing, everything like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is close your eyes and go back to that place where you were totally confident. And, I need to ask you, can you pick a knuckle where you want this anchor to be?
I'm trying to figure it here. Yeah. Yeah, sure. We'll just
Which
do
one?
this.
That one?
This
And you don't have any anchors there already?
I don't think I have any.
No? Okay, cool. It's your first one? Great. So what I want you to do is go back to that time in your mind where you felt totally confident, float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, feeling totally confident. And as the emotions just start to fill your body, you can just hold that down. And when the feeling goes away, you can just release it. Okay, and now just tap on it. Do you feel like a little surge of confidence?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it a bit stronger. Okay, so I feel like conversations are really powerful for you. Can you think of a time where you were having a conversation or contributing in a meeting where you felt totally confident? Maybe you were getting the type of feedback that you wanted or seeing a lot of nodding heads, everything like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm so smart. I'm in the right place. I belong here. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
Know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, so what I want you to do is go back to that time, float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, feeling totally confident, and allow those feelings just fill up your body. And when they do, you can hold down that knuckle and just make it stronger, make it brighter, make it more real. And when it starts to release, then you can just release that knuckle. Okay. And now tap on it. Does it feel a little bit stronger? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
It's interesting because that last moment was a moment where it was a moment of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that just had to be said. It's something that I had to bring to light, and it was a moment of conflict that wasn't good, but it was something that we had to have that healthy conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt confident. Yeah, I felt confident in it because I knew where I stood and I knew what we needed to resolve. And it's like that feeling of I know, and this can't continue the way that we're doing it.
Yeah. I feel like that type of energy is powerful to bring into situations where maybe you're not always contributing because you're like, no, it needs to be said.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it needs to be said. And I need to say it.
Yeah. And I did.
And you did. I love it. Amazing. And so one thing that I love to do with anchoring is stacking anchors. So if you could combine the feeling of confidence with one other feeling that you would love to have, what would that be?
Creative.
Creative. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time where you were really creative?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you think of a specific time?
Yeah.
Okay, so allow yourself to float back to that time where you were totally creative. Go down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, feeling totally creative. Make it stronger, make it brighter. And when you're ready, hold down that anchor. And when you're ready, you can release.
I'm like doing it up here. So.
Wherever works for you. And now when you tap on it, do you feel that feeling of like confident and creative?
It's interesting how like it compounds, like when you think about the moments where you were able to bring new things to the table.
Totally. Yeah. Well, as you stack it, you're just making it stronger. And then every thought sends out a chemical message to our body, right? So then the more we kind of go back to those thoughts, we're creating those chemical messengers through our body. And so what you want to do with this anchor is, if you're sitting in a meeting and you're like, I have something to say, but that feeling's coming up, tap on it, and you'll be able to release those feelings of, no, I'm confident and I'm creative. So that's going to support you so much. Okay. Amazing. So what we did was we just installed something that we want to have. Now what I want to help you do is de-install something that's not supporting you. So from our conversation today, it sounds like when you want to be able to contribute, you're getting that little thought that's crossing your head of, I'm bothering them, right? Does that feel accurate?
Yeah.
Is that the biggest thought that you feel like is coming across your head?
I'm bothering them, or maybe I'm not providing the right detail or the right information.
I'm not providing the right information.
Yeah, that they're looking for.
Yeah, out of the two of them, which one seems...
I think the bothering
like
part the
bothering?
most,
Okay, so we'll focus on that one. And we could do the other one another day. And sometimes what happens is if we get rid of the bigger problem, then the other one kind of just disappears anyway. So let's get rid of the belief that when I'm talking to someone or sharing an idea, I'm bothering them. Does that sound good? Okay. So for this technique, we're going to be essentially going through how you store past memories and releasing the root of the belief that when I talk to someone, I'm bothering them. Okay. Have you done neural energetic encoding before, or anything to do with your timeline?
No.
Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to help you discover how you store past we're going to help you discover how you store past memories.
Okay.
And then once you know how you store those past memories, then we can release the memory that created the decision when I talk to someone, I'm bothering them. Sound good? Okay. So everyone encodes their memories and how they perceive time differently.
Okay.
Discovering how your mind stores everything that's led you up to this moment and your internal experience of what will happen in the future is a great tool for encoding your goals, identities, beliefs, memories, and behaviors in the subconscious mind. So I would love to imagine that if I asked you, where's your future and where is your past, that you'd point in a certain direction, like forward, behind you, to the side or to the other, above you or below you, or in some other way in relationship to your body. So I would love for you to share the first response that comes to you. So let's hear the intuitive response that comes to you. It doesn't have to be logical or make any sense at all. It's just the first response that pops into your mind.
Actual word, not like pointing, right?
With your finger, you point. So if I were to ask you, where is your future? Where would you point? There? Okay, great. And where's your past?
Behind me.
Okay, great. So take a moment to examine how you store your past and future. Everyone experiences a little differently, and that's perfectly fine. Okay? So in the past, I've heard that some people have experienced their internal experiences of memory as a river, a train track, a line, a picture with books, a picture book with movies, flipping pages, swirls, and so much more. So just like all of our neurology is different, our experiences of the past, present, and future are different too. So what does your encoding look like and feel like?
For my history?
Yeah.
If I were to say what it looks like, probably like a river.
A river?
Yeah, something that just, it comes and it goes. Like it's part of, like it flows.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do before we do the emotional work is we're just going to let you kind of experience that. So take a nice deep belly breath in and fully relax and close your eyes and think of that encoding that you just described. See it all the way from the past to the future. And as you become aware of this visualization and whatever you're experiencing, I'm going to ask you to now float above it. Float way up above it so that you're way higher than this experience. You can be floating as you're light as air, and just make sure you're looking through your own eyes rather than seeing yourself floating. Now turn around so you're viewing your past from high above and float back as long as you'd like. There is no concept of time on the unconscious level, so you can go as quickly as you like and take as little time as you want. Float as far back as you would like and nod when you're there. Good. And now you can move into the future. Look the other way and turn around so you're facing the future, and go ahead and float right out into the future. You can go ahead and float right into the future as far as you would like. And when you get there, you can also give me a nod. And remember, your subconscious doesn't have the concept of time, so you can take as little time as you like. You may choose to take a look and notice where you feel you're heading and make note of what's there. And now, when you've gone as far into the future as you would like, turn around and come back to now. Float up high above the moment of now, observing yourself in the present from high up and far away, being here in this moment. And when you're ready, you can float back down into now, float into your body, and ground yourself back into your body. And if you like, you can wiggle your toes or your fingers to feel grounded back in the moment of now. Okay, welcome back. How are you feeling?
That was very interesting.
It was interesting?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you experience?
When we were going backwards, it's interesting because the way that I was envisioning it is I was watching a stream, but I was like, it was going that way, but I was facing it, but moving like away from it. And then when you cued me to sort of look into the future, it's like I almost just like flipped my body, looked forward, and I just like opened up onto a big ocean.
Oh.
And I was just sort of like floating above, like it was like a sunrise, you know, in like that time of day where it's just like beautiful light, and I was just like floating above that. And then I began to imagine like actual, like a physical space after that.
Yeah. Well, you're like a Grecian goddess. So maybe it's like the river in Greece going out into the sea, and it sounds beautiful. And I like that metaphor as well, because like the past already happened, and it's a river, but your future, it's the ocean.
Yeah.
It's like you can go in any direction.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for helping me through that.
Yeah, everyone's a little different. And this is so powerful because when we think of who we are, our identities, everything like that, it's really just a collection of memories of things that we've gone through that have shaped who we are or who we think we are.
Yeah.
If we had gone through a different collection of memories, we might be a completely different person.
Yeah.
In a complete parallel reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so when we now have this tool to shape what we took out of those different memories, then we actually get to shape a new future for ourselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I'm not, this is why it's also really interesting that I'm having this struggle, because I'm not one to harp on the past. I'm sort of like, okay, it happened. I accept it. I look at it. I'm like, okay, time to move it along. Mm-hmm. Life, like I'm always like a forward thinking person. Like even in my visualization, I was moving forward, but facing backwards, just going on the cues of like looking back on my past. But I just always think about how can I continuously move forward. Mm-hmm. This is an interesting situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna help you so that when you're in these meetings, everything like that, you feel like you can just share as you are, who you are. So we're gonna release the root cause of feeling like when you're talking to someone, you're bothering them. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna be using that same encoding that we just discovered right now. So give yourself a moment, just ground into your body, be fully present. And you can take a nice deep breath in, let your belly expand and release. And I'm just going to ask you the question, is it aligned and congruent with your unconscious mind for you to release this belief that when you're talking to someone or sharing something with someone, you're bothering them? And for you to be consciously aware of it now?
I'm going to be consciously aware of it for sure.
Yeah. Does it feel aligned to release that belief?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I want you to ask your subconscious mind, what is the root cause of this belief, which when released will cause it to totally disappear?
Interesting. I feel like it could be many things, but I think it goes back to maybe creating a space where maybe I don't want to say this is something stupid.
Okay.
Maybe I've been in scenarios, maybe I can like look back to a moment when I was a kid where I said something pretty confidently, and somebody was like, that's so stupid.
So was this before, during, or after your birth?
Probably after. I was
After
probably
your
young.
birth?
Yeah.
And if you were to know what age, just ask your subconscious mind.
I think it was like when I came from Greece, like around 4 or 5 years old.
4? Okay. And just ask your unconscious, is there anything earlier than that, or that's the first time?
I think that was the first time that I can think of.
Okay, great. So now get in touch with your past, present, future encoding, that river that we just discovered. And if you want, you can close your eyes, you can leave them open, whatever works best for you. And so what I want you to do is float way up. In fact, float so high up that all the emotions just release, and turn around looking through your own eyes and face that past. So go ahead and float back and continue to float until you reach this event. This event you just shared was 4 years old. And when you arrive there, give me a nod to know that you're there. While you're floating there high above the event, looking down at the event, ask your subconscious mind, what does it need to learn from this event? Once learned will allow you to let go of the belief easily and effortlessly. You will preserve these learnings so if you need them in the future, they'll be there to support you and help you at any time. You may get an inner knowing that you're receiving all the learnings or a clear conscious sign. When you've got the learnings now and you feel safe to do so, please let me know what they are.
I feel like when I go back to that moment, it was the time where I didn't know. I thought I knew the answer, but I didn't know the word because I was fresh from Greece. So I knew what the actual answer was, but the word was escaping me. So, and then,
And ask your subconscious mind, what do you need to learn about that event that will allow the belief that you're bothering people to disappear?
Maybe it's to be easier on myself. Yeah, maybe it's a little to be easier on myself and be okay with making mistakes.
Okay. Anything else your subconscious wants you to know?
Pay attention to the details. Maybe. I think that's it.
Pay attention to the detail? Okay. What does your subconscious mind want you to know about you in relation to this event, in relation to what you're learning?
Probably that it's something that you have to give yourself time when you're learning something new.
That's a good learning. Yeah. Give yourself time. And does your subconscious mind want you to know anything about you that's about the future and that's positive?
I think this is something that I always say to myself is that it all works out in the best case scenario.
Works out in the best case scenario. Love
Yeah.
that. Anything else your subconscious mind wants you to know?
Yeah, I think no, I think that's it. I think it's just that it works out, and I think I just need to give myself a little bit more space, not be so hard on myself.
Okay, beautiful. So now that you've received all these beautiful learnings and insights, it's time to float up above and well before the event and turn around facing the future. So you can go ahead and do that. So the event is in front of you and way down below you. And now ask yourself, where is that old belief that when I'm talking to someone, I'm bothering them? Is it there or is it just gone now?
It's not just gone, but it's not powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's lessened a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a powerful. I think it's something that I'm gonna have to continue to move through and just remind myself that I'm like I need to move past it.
I'm going to ask you to float back up above that event and look down on it and ask your subconscious mind, is there anything else that you need to learn about this event?
The event when I was younger, right?
The
Yeah.
4-year-old event, yeah. Nothing else?
No, I feel like that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to ask your subconscious mind, are you before or are you above the first event? Go back to the first event where there used to be that belief that when I talk or I share, I'm bothering someone. So your subconscious mind can send up a beam of light bright enough to see from anywhere on any of your timelines. So you can instantly transport yourself back there now. Is there any previous event? It could be in the womb. It could be past life, generational. Is there any previous event?
It's interesting to think like that. I do think like that. You know I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it has something to do with growing up being like in a European family where maybe women weren't really always given the space that they have now or can have now. Yeah.
And is there a specific event? And you might not consciously remember it, but you might get a knowing like, oh, this happened X lifetimes ago or whatever. Do you have any knowings or feelings?
No. The one thing I know for sure is that my mom always instilled like deep confidence in me. Mm-hmm. She always said like really good things to me, and I feel that to today. So I feel very grateful for that.
That's good.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Hi, Mom, if you're watching.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is float up above and well before that event, that 4-year-old event, and turn around facing the future so the event is in front of you and way down below you. And now ask yourself, now where is that old problem? Is it there or is it just gone now?
It's gone.
It's gone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Completely gone?
Yeah. When you think about it from such a place from way before, you think past it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think past it.
Okay. So now what I want you to do, if you feel safe to do so, is float down into the event so you're looking through your own eyes. And now check in on your body for that problem. Is it there or is it just gone now? The belief that if I talk to someone or share something with someone, I'm bothering them.
I feel like I need to put myself in that scenario again. and just be confident that I know what I'm saying.
So for right now, it's the 4-year-old one. So when you float back down into that.
Remember how earlier I said I always think about things in the past and I sort of always move past them. I think about that moment and I'm always like, yeah, that kid was mean, first of all. I was an immigrant. I didn't know how to speak English properly. So I think about like the scenario around it.
And how's your feeling inside now or your belief inside now? Is it there or is it still gone now?
My belief is that I in that space, for sure, that I should have been given the opportunity to speak. And if I was wrong, the way that I was approached should have been better. Okay. Not like some kid laughing at me like, you said that's, silly.
Okay. So it sounds like you got some great learnings to be easier on yourself, to be okay with making a mistake, to give yourself that space to work through things. And that also it's not just about your reaction, but sometimes other people need support with their communication
and
too.
Also I can't control those people.
Control it. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to start to move back to now over that encoding, over that river, noticing how quickly you've let go of that belief that, you're bothering someone if you share something with them. So let go of that belief all the way back to now. And you might notice other events where there used to be that old problem. So apply those learnings to each of those events, to to give yourself the space to work through things, that things take time, that it all works out for the best. So stop well before and above each event where there used to be that feeling that you're bothering someone by sharing. Apply these learnings and let go of the problem all the way back to now. Your unconscious can take as little time as it wants, so continue to let go of that problem all the way back to now. And when you get back to now, go ahead, take a nice deep breath, and float down into now and come back into the room. Okay, hi.
Hi.
I like these little jewels on your sweater.
Thanks.
So think of a time in the past where you used to be able to feel that when you're sharing with something with someone, you're bothering them. And go back there now and just check to make sure it's gone now.
I think what I want to feel now is that when I'm sharing something is that I'm heard.
That you're heard. Okay,
Yeah.
great. And now in your mind, float out to a time in the future where if it would have happened in the past, you would have felt that feeling. And notice, how is it different now?
It's different. Yeah. I think it's just wanting to feel heard. Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's the difference, is that when I think about now, how I translate that scenario to today, is that just taking the space and feeling heard in that moment and not really caring so much what the response will be, as much as making sure that I say what I need to say.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So now it feels like you're going to feel confident to share what it is that you need to say.
Yes, I hope so. That's the thing. I'm like, I want to put it into real life practice.
Yes.
In the scenarios where I, take those steps. I think I have to mentally say to myself, it's okay to speak. It's okay to say the things that you need to say. It's okay to gather the information and give myself the time and space that I need to feel heard, to say what I need to say.
And when you're in that situation, do you now feel like you're bothering people?
No, I don't feel that.
No, okay.
No, yeah.
So we've cleared that. So
Yeah.
that's great. And now it's, okay, now I just want to be heard, which is good.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be heard, you're going to start to speak up.
Yeah. Or just ask the question. It's like I struggle to speak up, but also be able to ask, not feel like someone's going to be like, oh, this person. But yeah, just be heard and speak up and forget that, I have a job to do. And they also have a job to do, and I'm just trying to help. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And not have that. Yeah, it was like a limiting belief. I feel like people just didn't want to hear from me.
And now it's shifted. So let's think about so now you've released the belief that you're bothering people if you're talking to them. What would happen if you shared something and then you didn't feel heard?
I'd follow up.
You'd follow up.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just say, hey, in that last conversation, felt like you didn't hear what I was saying. Can we talk about it? What was your thoughts or feedback or? Yeah.
And that, to me, that sounds like a big shift from the beginning of today's session. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Because rather than staying quiet, you're now sharing and following up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And sometimes
amazing.
I just take that and I'm like, oh no, they don't want to hear from me. And then I just continue to recede back into my shell.
But now you're putting the onus on them.
Yeah.
You're coming with positivity. You're coming with ideas. And if they don't respond, that's more about them than you, because you're trying to move the company forward. You're trying to move the goals forward.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now come back to now. So a few things your subconscious mind wanted you to know that you can use when you're tapping, you can use with your affirmations. Maybe in future, if we have time, we could do hypnosis or something like that, is to be easier on yourself, to be okay with making mistakes, to give yourself time to improve, to work, to gain that knowledge, everything like that. And everything works out. So your subconscious mind wants you to know that. And that's why things are kind of feeling out of alignment, because it's banging on the door being like, remember these things.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing that we talked about earlier was your nervous system, right? When your nervous system feels regulated, you feel energized, you feel positive, you're going to be able to tune in and tap into your ideas and your creativity and rationalize and make decisions and everything like that. So one tool that's really, really great for your nervous system is EFT.
Yeah.
Okay. And you already know EFT, which is great. So what we can move into, maybe we'll do one quick round. But because you already know it, we don't need to go through the full thing. And also for anyone watching, there's so many more EFT videos on my YouTube channel, so you can click there to watch them. But EFT is something that works really well with routine and repetition. So I'm going to invite you in the mornings when you wake up to do EFT on confidence.
Okay.
Until you start to really feel those shifts. Do you drive to work or
I usually walk to work.
You walk to work.
Yeah.
So I love doing EFT on the go. So sometimes I'll be in my car. So you could literally be walking to work.
Okay.
Just literally tapping.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to start to make those shifts.
Okay.
So let's start to tap in these positive learnings that you got from your subconscious mind. So you want to start at the top?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to be easier on myself.
I'm going to be easier on myself.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay to make mistakes.
Let's go to the side of the eyebrow. And even though I'm still learning, let's go right next to the eyebrow.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Here?
As close to the eyebrow as you can get. Yeah.
I don't know where my eyebrow is.
And even though I'm still learning,
I
deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply, completely love and accept myself.
Okay. And let's go next to the eye. I'm going to give myself space.
I'm going to give myself space
to learn.
And
continue to improve. Let's go underneath the eye. I can't control how other people will react.
I can't control how other people will react.
But I can control how I show up.
I can control how I show up.
Let's go underneath the nose. I have so many creative ideas to share.
I
said creative really weird right there.
I think it's because your lip was
probably it's busy right now. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Let's go to the chin. Oh, I was like, what did I write here? Everything always works out. Even when I've been in tricky situations. I know that everything works out. Let's go to the collarbone.
Above or below?
Just below the collarbone.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
I know they've asked me that one before. It is important that I share my ideas. I have great ideas to share. I'm here because of my creativity. Let's go underneath the arm. What I have to say is valuable. I have my ideas for a reason. I can shape the future of my company. And I can take up space. Okay. Let's go to the wrists. It is important for me to take up space. It's important for me to share what's on my mind. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Amazing. Now I want to high five you. So do those types of affirmations as you're tapping through. Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I remember I was telling you the last time I did EFT, I like burst out into tears. I'm like kind of feeling that feeling right now.
That's good. Yeah. That means things are shifting.
Yeah.
After EFT too, it's always good to like take a nice deep breath and drink some water.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's good. And it's like your subconscious mind wanted you to know this, right? This was what you discovered when we did that technique. Yeah. So it's trying to communicate to you because the reason why it feels good and the reason why it's bringing up emotions is because that's your truth.
Yeah.
And the more you let yourself live in your truth, the more you're going to feel aligned every single day when you show up to work. Mm-hmm. People are going to feed off of that energy and they're actually going to become more receptive to your thoughts and your ideas and whatever it is that you want to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
So to wrap up today, thank you so much. So we're coming up on almost 5 minutes left of our session. So you did amazing. How are you feeling right now?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
That was really insightful and it's good to see how it all comes together.
Mm-hmm.
I think, just to ask yourself specific questions and get some tools to help me on my day-to-day.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel now if you go out to a time in your mind where you're in those meetings, you need to approach people with your ideas or insights, what kind of shift do you feel like you have now?
That I feel like it's okay for me to take up that space in that room. There's a reason why I'm there. And I need to feel confident and step into that.
And how are you feeling? Like when we started today, you were talking about confidence. How is your confidence feeling now?
It feels better. It really does. And I'm like I've said this a few times, like it's strange for me to not feel like generally like okay with being open and direct, and that's why this has been a challenge for me. So I know that I can take this forward, and it's just like that motivational shower that I needed.
Yeah.
But again, I think that the EFT tapping that we did today, I'm going to practice daily in my morning routine.
Absolutely. And just keep instilling that in, and that's going to solidify those neural connections for even more confidence.
Yeah.
A few things that you can take away as well, sort of like to-dos, are like we just talked about, doing EFT daily. That's going to make a huge shift. Also, giving yourself the permission to ask for the support, right? Because when you're not too busy or stressed out or pulled thin doing a bunch of different things, then you can focus in on the things that you actually need to be doing for the growth.
Yep.
So asking for support with the tasks that maybe are something that someone else could help with, like entry-level position, that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, too, you said earlier, I've always been the leader. I've always done things first. I've always kind of taught and mentored other people, but I haven't always received that support.
Yeah.
I think it's safe for you to ask for support with specific things that you need to move forward on strategies. So maybe approaching people on your team saying, hey, can we bring a consultant in on this? Or can we get a course or something on that? Because you know, when your intention is growing the company in the way that you want, it's okay for you to get those resources. Like you can do it to even like higher potential, and you can do it with even more knowledge rather than trying to figure it out or take it all on. Why not bring in a consultant that's done it for 5 other companies? Yeah. You're still leading the charge. Yeah. You're still great at your job. You're just getting a second kind of pair of eyes on the situation, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So I think you can ask for support on the littler things, and also ask for support so you have someone to lean on to get to that next level too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it might come from outside of your role. It might not be your direct manager that knows it. It might need to be a consultant or a coach or a course or a book or something like that, or a conference. And one last thing that I feel like could really support you as well is deciding on your boundaries. So I know you said sometimes people are coming to your door to knock on your door to ask for certain things, and it's because they don't necessarily know how to use certain tools. So for you, you get to decide, okay, this is my standard for how I'm spending my time at the office. So what are your boundaries for what's outside of how you want to be spending your time, or doing things for other people that they could figure out on their own, or that they need to be trained on to do on their own. Yeah. So if you know, let's just say there's a tool that nobody knows how to use, so they keep asking you how to use it. Let's set that boundary of Demetra only spends 2 hours a week helping people with this tool until they figure it out. And then Demetra now spends her time on strategies, and she's not teaching people this specific tool. And in order to make that happen, maybe there needs to be a training that's created. So maybe you spend 2 hours a week right now building out a training, you know, just recording it on your screen on Loom, or maybe somebody else can do it. Because even if you spend 2 hours a week for the next month building it out, at least you know now after that, you don't have to keep answering the same question. You can say, watch the video I made, or watch the video that Steven made, or, you know, whoever else.
Here you go. Here's your link. Yeah.
And then you can free up your time. And, you know, when someone knocks on your door, it's not just about that time. It's also you were focusing in on something, you were in creative flow, and now it's been diverted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find my most creative moments are really early when nobody's up, or really late when nobody's up and nobody can bother me. And that's also unfair to me, because that digs into my time for work. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think setting up those boundaries, maybe even setting up some do not disturb moments during the day where you can be in flow, so you can operate at your highest potential, and supporting other people on the team at being more independent and finding the answers that they need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
I feel good.
That was
you.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great.